Our next reader is this phenom. She's absolutely brilliant, JESS PTAK. Met her relatively recently. She's up on YouTube because of us documenting her, and I'm thrilled to death that we have witnessed her genius at the Carpellis as well as the Howland. It gives me great pleasure, JESS PTAK. This is loud enough, so just cheat so you see yourself, you're not blocking your face.
All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay. My love, an ocean earth bath. You, the continent, forming from the rock, an edge connected to itself, island coming up within me. I have no boat to come out. I have no breath to hold for long distances. The closest I come, a wave. The closest I get, turning myself into atmosphere. I have you surrounded. I am sorry. Nature has nothing to say sorry for. I can't help but feed you with life. I can't help but touch you from all sides. I pray maybe put me in a jar and call me a reminder. Call me a healing element kept away from the faucet. You see me dirty with sand. You call me the purest thing. I pray maybe you'll visit when you need to remember you are made of salt like me. We both have no idea where we end. We are touching everything, wondering how do we get closer. I am not she, reaching backwards, distracted from the sunlight, the flower fallen behind, the begging hand asking to be filled. My eyes will not spend a life looking for lost time, a nodding head in agreement. I am empty in a forest, kissing the skin of the floor with my blood. I am a mouth of smoke, signaling the morning we all come to the window. Not another day longer asleep to the pulse. So I've been playing with, not necessarily form, but a style, playing with list poems recently, which has actually taken me somewhere very different. So I'm gonna read a couple of these. Things that tug at my heart. The sky, every day. Standing at a cold window in only a shirt, watching the shape of air. Cello at 1 a.m. and wishing the sound had hands that fit me. A specific name at the perfect time. Waking up to find someone couldn't sleep alone. Waking up to find a small hand across my chest, looking at each finger and knowing their power to shape a world. Birds that meet me at the sun, praying another language at a rained-in stream, asking the tree, the wind right after, dreaming and waking up, remembering the way it all felt, every detail. The stories I hear on my knees, in their eyes, questions like, how many blades of grass do you think? Or how does the moon do that? Follow us home. Questions like, Mommy, why go to outer space if the earth is already in it? Grass on my skin, dirt on my lips, checking for light in a storm, waiting for rainbows. Wondering if the hawk can deliver what I can't seem to say. Standing in line at the grocery store and thinking how everyone here wishes someone will hear them tonight, beyond the words and sound. catching dandelion wishes on my arm in the meadow, cows listening to music, a snake waking up from a nap, washing dishes at my grandmother's house for the last time. Which leads us into this next one. Reasons I washed the dishes. 1, I wanted to. 2, I grew up watching them do it after every gathering, after every party, after every long day. I am able. 3, to stare out the back window. 4, I watched my childhood over 20 minutes of forks and knives and Easter Sunday plates and the dishcloth from when I was 9 and the sound of men and politics. 5, they say, think of your first memory, all the way back even more. I am in this kitchen. My grandfather whistled in this room. He looked across to the front window. He winked at me. He still is winking at me. He still is whistling. 6, I was afraid of what would happen if I didn't. 7, I was trying to put a room inside my heart. 8, I wanted my grandfather to make ramen in those bowls. 9, I could hear the Yankee games from the 90s with my hands in the water. 10, the pool was open and I was 5 and singing to myself in the corner. 11, the dishwasher never worked and Grandma filled it up with bags of chips instead. 12, it made the day longer. 13, not long enough. 14, I pretended the willow was still standing. 15, I am a granddaughter. 16, I am a daughter. 17, I am a mother of daughters. 18, I wanted to.
Good for you.
Thank you. This next one, what it is to be a mother. I wrote this as an after poem to a poem I read on Instagram somewhere, but what it is to be a mother. The missing bag of cherries I just bought. Standing in the center of 3 conversations at once and responding soft each time. And sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's leaving a hot stove for 3 separate fires, non-emergencies requiring immediacy. It's knowing the words are wrong and praying the world doesn't change them. It's knowing how tired you feel and hoping they ask for one more song and giving one anyway. It's counting to 3 in the car mirror. Breakfast for dinner, it's confetti guns in the car, not once, not twice. Pulling over when your ribs hurt from laughing. It's opening the back door just to kiss his face. It's asking the moon, is this enough? Do you think I'm doing it? It's running hands over my own body to say, remember when I was a house? Remember when I was a home, standing in the green room, holding each instrument against my belly to say, listen to this, baby. Listen to this. Wait until you hear it, the music. Remember when I was a warm place, a familiar note, a blanket, a space to hold, an extra heart.
Yes,
This season, I am gathering roses, if for no other reason than to turn them into metaphors, to remind my daughter the cracked sternum was an act of love, and her body is her own garden. What they don't write books for. How to tell a heart it's not in danger when it's storing old memories and the patterns of the blood. How to keep a memory but lose a house that held them. How to keep a memory but sit across from someone else who can't without wishing it was different. How to tell someone your soul loves their soul without evidence or history or proof. How to explain how, out of all people, out of all places, out of all little crossing moments, out of all stars, you are here. What to do when his voice is praying you inside out in the middle of the dark. What to do when you want what doesn't want you. What to do when you know what you know, but the time hasn't caught up yet. How to hold longing at a safe distance so it doesn't eat you off the open field, leaving your bones behind. How to say you're sorry because you mean it. How to know it's the right time. Well, it always is, that's the secret. How to make sure you won't be alone if you tell the truth. How to read 6 books at once. How to stop dreaming, how to keep dreaming, how to say these are more than just dreams. How to tell a heart it's not in danger. You can be one from here. I have written this poem every day for 30 days to write of my children. I think of conversations between front seat, back seat, the moon following us home. I think of big enough, and when I come down the stairs each morning, I am reminded there are 4 sons, not 1, and 3 are wrapped in blankets on the couch. And 2 will pick flowers in the front yard this afternoon, and 1 will build a plane and call himself a paper airline pilot. And 1 will ask me how to know someone is your best friend, and how do you keep them, and why does life change fast, and can you promise me it won't? The truth is, I am too covered in the mud of these moments to lift a pen. I am too buried under their roots to think of rising to the grass to fill a page. I have left myself in their gardens. I have webbed myself around a chime of laughter, and I refuse to tug it back, to try to put that sound to a watering down of words. That magic is for me. Call me selfish. I can be. I think of what it is to be a mother, to tell a room full of tired, large children that color is growing under the shade, and bees are still collecting pollen and making honey, and dreams are still dreamt, and my children are still asking questions I have been asking myself. I think of what it is to make bedtime a ritual, to stay on my knees longer than I used to just to see God in their eyes, because it's there, because we forget it's there. And then I walk myself to the mirror and look close at my own, and I see her there too. So when is it we stopped seeing? I think of what it is to be a mother, and what you don't know about being a mother is that it's walking through tall grass in a sun that won't stop, and they don't make maps for this land. It's wildflowers she lets grow, she breathes them in, she listens to their wind music. She watches them dance and says, dance, dance all day, please never stop dancing. She sings it until the dark comes, because the dark will come, and we better spend the days dancing. What they don't tell you about mothering is that you can be one without a small hand reaching over in the night. You can be one from here, on this side of an ocean, screaming in a forest for the other side. You can be one from here, the mother of the man old enough to be your father, shouting over the children in the street. You can hold his little hand from the inside out and pray into his fingers with your desperate tears on the back porch, and close your eyes to see his, when his body was too small to know how his hurting parts would lay out like glass for them to walk on. You can be one from here, kneeling down to see God in his eyes, because it's there, because we forget it's there. You can be one from here, the boy picking toys and swallowing tears, because these are things and those are bombs, and how we forget what's left of a person when the evidence of their hands has been erased, with fire and flood and blood and flags planted in piles of money and dirt that didn't ask to be raped, and sky that didn't ask to breathe in the smoke of our own self-abandonment. You can be one from here, singing out your window, inviting the birds to breakfast, making extra music beyond the clock, asking better questions, crying against the pavement, gathering dust, filling it with wishes, and getting on with it. The love, the getting on with it. The wind tells me, above the feathering song, above the new construction, the gathering places, between fingers, between arms, keep alive what lives within you. I carry the empty bottle by the neck, hot against the dirt. I imagine him last night, probably drunk, probably laughing, entering uninvited, a trail of a mess of himself behind, like the mother will reach her empty hands above herself and sweep the ground clean. My face is a fire for her. My chest is unspeakable. Anyone who knows what it's like to hold a thing foreign knows what it is to go to war. Keep alive what lives within you is the mother, holding round anger in her palms, her face soft and earth, filling hate with soil, tending land, building beauty out of war. The ground fills up with red. I wonder the silent song the flowers make, a symphony of what happens when love gets a hold of what hurts. I am not the only one writing for a dream, housing a life for the unseen. I home two bodies under the skin. I feel them dancing a new heart rhythm deep within this womb. I count the words, the worlds they make, the palpitation, the hum, the voice, the echo between my bones. I don't know what it means to be asleep any longer, or what it is to dream. I don't trust a doctor sweeping vision into a pillowcase, calling it nothing more than interesting, marks on a lined up page. It's alive and well, more than most people I pass, more than most eyes hold these days. The way it knocks on the walls of my chest and climbs my ribcage like I am a playground for visitors of the moon, for laughing pockets of color. I am a garden. I am the old woman leaning against the stone exterior with green smoke in her fingers, too knowing to cut the weeds, too wise to do anything but laugh the way it all grows without me. Somewhere I read, in the belly is where it is, this great antiqued love, the mother kind, its hands ringed sitting stumps waiting to hold someone lost. I walk and walk, leave the trail into dark leaves from last year. Her back to me, I find her open, put my hand in, I say, this is the place. She digests sky and the news of her sister in Peru and the blood her brother catches in the middle of the jungle, right against his face. He is painted red and weeping. So is she, it seems. I ask, are you hungry? Give her something yellow to hold. We swap hearts for a minute. We are missing one. We are a separate life under birds, a new medicine rhythm against October. Her family marches down her skin. They hold me at the throat. No one knows our language anymore. Fix it, fix it, fix it now. Who died for the earth in my pocket? I planted right there at her altar. Her belly softer, with gold falling out, with hands that hold me. Who else will know how to hold her? Who else will know she is a mother? She is a mother too. I'll read like 3 more. So this is Monet paints the sun as it melts. I wonder where he stood when his spine must have straightened as the words came through. I want to change the way people see. How many days' worth of brushstrokes does it take to find the liminal space between a shadow and a sun ray? How many breaths have filled a canvas to recreate two sides of a coin in the same scenery? I know this feeling. I wondered last night, have I been in his body before? Was I standing there at the lilies outside of the museum walls, maybe laying in the grass? Was I floating in a notion of wonder at the way water turns to puddles of jewels, and why? Why do people sit in boats thinking of who may love them, or what plans are for later, or how much time has the clock given away since the morning? Have they dared to remove themselves beyond their sight to see something of a vision? I visit the parking lot. Each time I see something different. I have spoken with a raven at the entrance. Can anyone hear? I've sat in the car, watching what time does to the way we walk. Two butterflies float inside a river of air, and every eye is in the past, and every eye is married to the floor. Do they see a holy ground? Do they see how their breath becomes the river, how they breathe in water and become whatever dance those wings have left behind? I want to change the way people see. I want to paint the world as it really is. Not earth and sky and the bodies that fill it, not simply a moment in oil. His wife left her body. At an easel, he painted her a mountain. He painted her winter with a small smile. Maybe it's what the mouth does when it remembers peace. It is cold and it is dark. Under a veil of snow and gray, her face says, "This is paradise returning." In the corner, the light agrees. The red of her heart says, "Hello, I've been here," as the shades were closed and the cries were heard and the saris were laid out across the wood. She is a smiling winter and a beautiful ending who knows she begins. That year, the Seine was frozen and he painted the ice for weeks until islands formed, until islands turned to depth again, and he said with perception, "We are susceptible seasons. We are breaking apart into cold shapes. Melting is a natural order. The light does that, warms. And what a world would it be to not know when it touches the skin? This is not a dark shade hiding under willows. This is a space and what feelings fill it. This is the invisible dance, as it really is, whole, as it really is, what it couldn't be without the other." Oh, this is my book, All at Once. It says, "Straight lines are our greatest distraction. This body, it's new. It's been new all day, and who knows how many costumes I have worn since I arrived. This heart, it's been drumming even when I haven't tuned in. It's the metronome in the background of being here. This mind is playing old tapes, and I have learned new words. I have taught these eyes to start again this morning, to see red like a poppy field or purple like a shadowed forest from the sky. Maybe I was born today, or maybe with this breath, and again, this one, here. I'll be 33 in December, enough time to still not know where I'm going or to figure out that straight lines are our greatest distraction. Enough time to figure out what magic feels like, how I require love like poetry, and that I'll always be afraid if I don't invite God to sit at my table. Enough time to know how ancient I am, to know years are for clocks and candles, but they aren't for bodies and definitely not for souls. Time isn't for knowing what love is or how to recognize the barely acquainted to these hands' truth. Who knows how long it's been waiting here? Who knows how many lifetimes this one path has stretched against, but I know that I've been walking. I have been dragged and I've unfolded. There is more than 33 years of knowing inside of me. This will be my last one. I went to change my name today. Nothing crazy, no standing in line in a government office or stamped with ink or printed on a card to show oh, never mind. The point is I know who I belong to, and it isn't in my name. I love these men, oh, how I love these men, no matter the wounds they carry. I can see their hearts beating above their heads. Through their rough hands, I see them, and still I know who I belong to, and it isn't in those hands. I went to change my name today in the most informal places, wondering, how do I sign my craft? How do I take ownership of a story, of a word, of the God running through me from my mouth dressed in metaphor? I feel like I am in a game of borrowing and no return. Though I have returned, that is, but I can't return a name. I feel like I've gone digging now that I know where I am. What do I call me? Once I ran up the stairs after screaming. He said, "You are a visitor." And that's the first time I took scissors to a name. The last he told me, loving you in one life is enough. I hope I never have to do this twice, and I can't live in a house not mine, so I'm wondering, what do you call a woman when her name is from a man, when the man is from a woman? And what do you call her, if anything but goddess, mother, God? Thank you.
I'm humbled. That is, well, you are witness to genius, JESS PTAK. It just thrills me every time she reads. She just blows me away every single time, without exception.